All right, welcome back to SportsLine here on News Channel 5 Plus. In just a couple of minutes, we hope to hear from Joe Rexrode, sports columnist from The Athletic here in Nashville. And, of course, 102.5 The Game, the morning show with another friend of show, Robbie Stanley, every weekday morning, 6 to 10. By the way, you can catch me and Greg Pogue on the Greg Pogue and Jon Burton show every weekday morning from 9 to 11 on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio, 95.9 FM and 560 AM. And again, hopefully Joe will be calling us here in just a couple of minutes. An update from Edmonton. Second period, the Predators trailed the Oilers 2-1. The second game for the Preds on a long road trip. 6 games. They won game 1 last night in Calgary over the Flames in overtime, 3-2. Matt Duchene getting the game-winning goal there. Again, the Preds playing a back-to-back in Edmonton tonight against the Oilers as they trailed in that game 2-1. Your phone calls are always welcome, 737-7767. Again, we await Joe Rexrode from The Athletic to give us a call here. So we await his call as we try to hook up with him. Meanwhile, disturbing news, of course, out of Las Vegas. Former Alabama star Henry Ruggs III, the wide receiver of the Vegas Raiders, entering his second season, involved in a tragic car accident early Tuesday morning in Las Vegas. Ruggs' car struck the vehicle of another, let me try that again. Ruggs' vehicle struck another vehicle, killing a woman inside the car, 23-year-old woman and her dog. And reports saying that Henry Ruggs was over twice the legal limit, so he definitely was impaired. And also reports that he was traveling at about 158 miles an hour in his Corvette vehicle. Certainly tough times ahead for Henry Ruggs as he is facing almost certain jail time as he goes through, and come to find out that the state of Nevada has no probation or anything like that. So looks like if convicted, and there's a really good chance, almost certain chance he will get convicted, he will have to serve some serious jail time. So I'm sure sports fans here in this part of the country know all about Henry Ruggs III, dynamic wide receiver at Alabama, coming off a really good rookie season last year, looking to take his game to the next level. But again, tragedy strikes for him and, of course, the victim in the car. So again, it's hard to believe 158 miles an hour he was traveling through a residential neighborhood, I should say, not on a highway or a freeway. So certainly tragic news there, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the young lady who lost her life in that tragic accident. And of course, for Henry Ruggs, it's going to be a long, hard road for him going forward. All right, I believe we finally linked up with our buddy Joe Rexrode from The Athletic here in Nashville, the sports columnist, and of course 102.5 The Game. Good evening, Joe.
Hello, sir. Good to talk to you again. How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for calling in. We had some phone issues. We tried to call you, and then we appreciate you calling us. Joe, first of all, I got to start off with I'm jealous because you were at, by far, the college football game of the year over the weekend. Michigan at Michigan State. Everybody knows you're a big Michigan State guy. You got to enjoy that game with your family. What was the atmosphere like, and what was that game like to see it in person?
Yeah, well, obviously for people like us, we're usually in the press boxes and things like that. So it was, it's very rare to be like out in the atmosphere like that. So it was very cool. Honestly, I've covered a lot of huge games there going way back, to the 90s, and I don't think I've ever seen a more electric campus or stadium. And then, the game actually lived up to the hype. So, and I tell you what, I came away from that. I don't know how good Michigan State is, but I came away from that thinking Kenneth Walker III is the Heisman favorite. I mean, he was absolutely incredible. So, yeah, it was great. I have a 14-year-old who is, just a Sparty slappy all the way. So he had the time of his life. So that was cool as a parent.
I'm sure it had to be. And just real quick to our producer, Emila, it's actually Rexrode. We had you Rexrode ROAD. Sorry about that, Joe. We'll get that fixed quick, fast, in a hurry. It's Rexrode. Joe Rexrode from The Athletic joins us. Well, yeah, I was hella jealous that you got to experience that game. Obviously, the big news with the Titans, the loss of Derrick Henry. I tend to believe the reports that he'll be out the remainder of the season, given the nature of the injury, given the fact that he's going to need some serious rehab. I tend to believe he will be lost for the remainder of the season. Irregardless, obviously, Adrian Peterson comes into the fold. Do you expect the Titans to do more of a running back by committee situation? Obviously, they'd love for Adrian Peterson to be the bell cow, but this is a guy who's 36 years old. He's got a lot of tread on his tires.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. I think he's going to get the opportunity to get the bulk of the carries. I think Jeremy McNichols, maybe he'll have a little bit of an expanded role, but I think for the most part, he does what he does well, and they're going to stick with that. And Adrian Peterson will have the opportunity to be that guy who, wow, he's so good. He's in a rhythm. He warrants 20 carries. But honestly, I liked what I saw from Deontay Foreman last year. And if you want just, you don't have the home run element with him, but you do have the power element with him in this offense. So I'm going to be fascinated to see how this plays out. And look, I mean, that guy is a lot younger than Adrian Peterson, a lot less tread off the tires. I just thought even last year watching Peterson, and certainly understandably so for a dude who has 14,800 yards rushing. I mean, I think you can certainly start to see last year the age showing on him. Now, maybe all this time away and coming in halfway through the season and being energized by being able to, play for a contender, which has not happened much in his career. Maybe that all leads to, like a real rejuvenation for him. But it's going to be really interesting. I feel like all three of those guys are going to get opportunities to carry the ball.
Well, in 20 seconds or less, obviously the Titans could use a healthy Julio Jones now that Derrick Henry's going to be out of the fold, no?
That's huge. They've got to have that because A.J. Brown's about to get quadruple covered otherwise. So, I mean, they need full go Julio, and they need to stack some weeks together of that. And if they get that, I think the passing offense could be pretty good.
All right, Joe, short and sweet. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, taking some time out of your busy evening. We appreciate it, man.
All right, buddy. Thanks, JB. Bye.
All right. And we're back right after this.